What's going on, everybody? Coming to you today with my second knife video. So I started getting into knives. Let me back up a little bit. I started getting into knives about 2 years ago. I was in a knife store. I bought a Benchmade Autocrat knife. I got it for really cheap. It's like a $500 knife. Paid $200 for it because the store was clearancing them out because they were metal looking blades, and apparently they were only carrying the black blades going forward because they seemed to sell better. So I got really lucky and I carried that knife for about a year, and I lost it. It's either somewhere in my garage or I left it at Ace Hardware because it's the only two places I was the day that I lost it. So I punished myself for losing such an expensive knife, and I refused to buy a nice knife, and I carried a little China made knife for like 35 bucks. Had that for a year now, still have it, and it just broke. I just can't get it to work again. So I said, okay, I think I punished myself enough, and I set out to go buy a new decent knife. So I went to this place, and it's actually a guy's house that he's got a little store into it, Altamonte Outdoors in Ocala. Really cool guy I met. He's got, I would say, probably had couple of hundreds of knives in his little storefront inside his house. I went there set to buy a microtech of some sort. I like microtechs a lot. They're very popular. They're reasonably priced when you compare them to like the Benchmades. And yeah, that's what I was going to purchase. And I had my eyes set on a Combat Troodon. He did have one there that I really liked a lot. It was one of their, I guess, signature series. It was camo. It wasn't a cheap knife. It was a little over $700. Then he started showing me the Heretic knives, and I guess apparently the Heretic knives are made by the guy's son who started microtech. And he showed me one of the knives. I looked at all the knives. It was really cool being there. He allowed me to look at all his knives. I saw some other knives that I never even heard of, all these rare types of steel. So you got to understand, I'm not this knife geek, and I'm not making fun of people when I say geek, because I call myself a Star Wars geek, and I'm a motorcycle geek. By geek, I just mean somebody that knows a lot about a specific thing and really likes it a lot. So I'm not like this knife geek. I don't look for all the technical specs of the steel. I just think they're cool. I like the out the front knives. I like the automatic knives. I may get an automatic side folder. I'm not sure. So I hurt my arm a few months back, and the out the front knives, the push button activation really is actually very utilitarian for me. It allows me, if I'm doing something, cutting something, one finger, use my strong arm to be able to get the knife out and use it for what I need to. Can I use my left arm? Yeah, it just causes me a little bit of pain because of how I hurt my arm. So anyway, so I went to go pick up this Troodon, and then he started showing me these Heretic knives. Okay, so let me just open the box for you. All right, trying to do this the best way I can. So here's the box. So this is their, they call it the Colossus model, and they go for right around $400. This one was a little bit more because I got the DLC coating on the blade. I guess this is their, I guess rarer version of it, one of their rarer version of it. It says on the side, Heretic knives, serial number, Colossus, fully made in the USA. So I'll tell you what I like and don't like about the knife. So first of all, they call it a Colossus. Just for a comparison, here's a microtech Ultratech, and there is the Colossus. So you can see them both side by side. You would think Colossus, you would think this knife would be huge. It is not. It is, for length purposes, let me turn this one around so they're both on the glass breaker side. So side by side, it is slightly longer than the Ultratech. Now, I guess why I think they call it the Colossus, because when you look at the thickness of it, it is a lot thicker than the Ultratech, and that is the part that works for me. I have I guess you could say I have big hands, and it fits in my hand far better than the Ultratech does. This is my Ultratech Sith Lord. I would not normally buy an Ultratech. I'm just not. It's just a little too small for me. The grip part of it. I only purchased this because more for my Star Wars fandom, geeking out stuff, as opposed to my new obsession with knives. Anyway, so, but yeah, you can see them side by side. So blades out, blade out. So yeah, it's a little bit longer. So when I compare this side by side with the Troodon, the combat Troodon, it is slightly shorter than the Troodon, and it is obviously a little bit bigger than the Ultratech. Overall, am I glad that I got this over the Troodon? For now, yes. There's some things that I like about the Troodon better. I mean, this was like $200 cheaper than the Troodon. The Troodon that he had there that I was looking at was a like I said, it was an urban camo model. It was their signature series model, so that one was like $760 if I remember correctly. So I didn't want to get into that much because I am looking to get the Bounty Hunter Troodon, which is like, depending on the blade I get, I can show you that it is either $820, or they have another version of it with the Hellhound blade that is $915. I am definitely going to get one of those knives. Purchasing the Sith Lord definitely made me feel like I do not want to get the Bounty Hunter Ultratech. Like I said, I'm just not crazy about the size. The Bounty Hunter one, I will actually carry that knife. The great thing about it is they're already battle worn, so if it gets worn while I'm using it, it's not a big deal. If I would have spent $760 on the Troodon that he had there, I probably would not have turned around and bought the Bounty Hunter. But I am going to get the Bounty Hunter. I'm going to put it on layaway so I don't turn around and just outright spend $900 on a knife, because I don't want to be single. So yeah, like I said, that Troodon I am going to get down the road. So I like this knife a lot. The action has gotten a lot better as I've been playing with it the last couple of days. It's really, really smooth. I guess he's telling me it rides on ball bearings on the inside. The gentleman that owns the store, he's really big on the Heretic knives. He loves the microtechs too, but he's definitely big and very impressed, and he's a knife guy. He's impressed with these knives a lot. So I like the overall size of it. I love the little glass breaker as a little ball bearing as opposed to the big button that's on the microtechs. That's probably the only thing I can't stand about the microtechs. It's got, I guess, drain holes in it in case you're, cutting your way through water and need to drain your knife out. So the only negative comments I would say about this knife after 2 days of playing with it, so the finger, the button, is extremely rough on my thumb. You could actually see that just playing with it for a couple of minutes, it leaves marks on my thumb. So I guess maybe it's meant for people with gloved hands, and I know I'm going to get some comments of people saying, oh, you're a sissy, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. It's I don't have thick callus on my thumbs. It's gotten better over the last 2 days because it's starting to break in a little bit, so it's not quite as hard to throw the blade out, so I don't have to press as hard. but nonetheless, it is still, and I feel like, an extremely rough textured. And now you got to understand, I'm somebody that I shoot Glock predominantly, and I love the rougher textured frames on the Glocks. This is even rough for me. If I would critique it anymore, I also think that the design of the knife itself, it's very boxy, very square. When you hold it in your hand, you can feel the edges of this. So I will say that holding this next to the Combat Troodon, the Troodon feels far better in my hands. It's a smoother knife. The trigger doesn't feel as rough as well. I know a lot of people are interested in blade play. They both have minimal amount of blade play. I will say this, something really cracked me up. I was watching some videos and they were critiquing the blade sharpness of it coming out of the factory. Let me tell you something. I don't know if you can see my hand right there. You can shave with this. I mean, look at that. How much sharper does a knife need to be from the factory? I literally just shaved right in front of you guys with this knife. So, like, that's insane to me that people would stand there and say, well, they don't come that sharp. Like, that is literally razor sharp. I mean, I use a razor. That is razor sharp. Both of these knives. So, of course, now I have to shave the rest of my arm later. Which I don't care. I shave anyway. Yeah, see, this is my Star Wars stuff. This is my Star Wars nerddom. That's another reason why I'm getting Bounty Hunter, because yeah, that's what it is. I'm a Star Wars nerd. But anyway, to buy this one as an everyday carry knife, for the money, I think that I did the right thing buying this over the Combat Troodon. Now, as I said, I will get the Bounty Hunter. It's already comes in a battle-worn paint scheme, so I could use it without being afraid of scratching it up or anything like that, and it'll still hold its collectability. Of course, I won't abuse it, but I will carry it. And so far, out of every knife I've ever held, that Combat Troodon is still the best feeling knife for me. That's not to take anything away from this Heretic Colossus. I think this knife is an awesome knife. Would I buy it again? Absolutely. As I said, though, if I could have some critique for the company towards it, all I would say is round off these edges just a little bit. Don't make it so boxy, and maybe just ease up on the knurls on this on the button. And then the only other thing too, like they say this is supposed to be ambidextrous, but if you look at the switch, it is definitely curved for a right-handed trigger pull. I hope that's proper knife terminology, trigger pull. Yeah. So, but I mean, the trigger rides on ball bearings. It's really smooth. You know, I love the DLC coating on it. You see a little bit of a shine. I did get the serrated edge. It's the edge that I wanted to. It gives it a little bit. It actually, for me, using it at work, it's actually more meaningful to have that serrated edge, so I can cut bands and stuff like that. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm not supposed to use this at work. But yeah, I mean, the belt clip is nice. It allows for a deep pocket carry. To be honest, the last year or so, I've been carrying a knife more than I carry a firearm, because I can just go into more places without worrying about the firearm. Do I think it's a better self-defense weapon? No, of course not. Nothing beats a firearm. But knife is certainly nice to have, and I can tell you, ever since I've been carrying knives, I've also noticed that I've used them for different things a lot more than I ever thought I would. Construction of the knife, the blade uses magna steel, which from what I'm told is like the new hot steel that everybody's going to. So I guess I was told microtech is going to that as well. So apparently it's a really, really good steel that they use. The blade itself, I'm not going to pull out a micrometer and start measuring it. It's a large, it's a pretty thick blade up top, and then obviously it's thinner down where the point is. It has these knurls here, so if you have to use it to press down on the blade, it's fairly comfortable to do so. You know, they're not sharp or anything. They actually feel less intrusive than the trigger. But I mean, yeah, it's a really nice design. It's got, I don't know what this is in here, but the only thing I can say is it feels like skateboard grip tape, but it's definitely not grip tape. I tried to pull it out and it doesn't come out, so I don't know if they just hammered the aluminum that way to make it like that or what they did to it, but the grippiness of it feels really good. You're definitely not losing your grip on this knife. I just wish the edges were a little bit curved more. You can get these in a multitude of different blades. The Tanto blade it's my favorite blade. Not only do I like the way it looks, going back to my Star Wars thing, it looks like Darksaber. Yeah, it just I just felt like for the money, it's a really good knife. Colossus Tanto DLC, full serrated, tactical. It's tactical. I'm tactical now. It comes with a little bit of their OTF lube. I have plenty of rem oil, which I'm told is everybody uses for the OTF, so that just happens to be a good match because I use it on my firearms as well. So it works for me. The screws, if you wanted to take it apart, although I don't know why anybody would, these offer a lifetime warranty on them. If you got to sharpen them, you send them back. I wouldn't do it myself. But if you wanted to, you can take these apart. They use the T8, I think it is, the T8 screws, and you can take the whole thing right apart. There's plenty of videos out there that show where people are taking them apart and cleaning them and putting them back together. I don't see myself getting into that. I will send it back when it needs to go back, and in the meantime I won't carry this, but I would probably carry the Troodon in the meantime when this has to go back, but I'm definitely not going to be taking my knife apart myself to clean or do anything with. So yeah, that's my review, and that's, you know, like I said, this review is coming from you from just a regular non-knife guy, know-it-all, geek, nerd. I'm just a everyday dude that likes to talk about stuff that he has and likes to have cool stuff, and this is one of my favorite and expensive fidget spinners. That's what it is, that I could actually use on things. So look them up if you've never heard of them. Heretic knives. I hope I said that right. Heretic. If you're looking for a place to order from, look up Ultramante Outdoors. It's crap. Let me see. There you go. There's his website. Altamont Outdoors. And that's actually the Troodon I was looking at his store. So I'm not good enough to post links yet, so I'll focus in there so you can see the spelling of it. And like I said, he's a great guy. Literally let me into his house/store, and you see my dog in the background. That's the best dog in the world. I don't care what anybody says. I shouldn't say that. He's an a-hole. He really is, but he's a good dog to me. But yeah, you should, if you're interested in a microtech or a Heretic, the guy's got tons and tons of knives, and he really was a good guy. I trust the guy. I'm going to buy from him again. I've already been on the website and have a couple of knives on my wish list. But yeah, Heretic Colossus. Good knife. Good knife for the money. Good knife, period. That's all I got, guys. Hit subscribe if you like my videos. Thank you.